What is going on, guys? Dan from the Elite 4 crew, back at it again with the white vans. We are back on YouTube, guys. It's been a while, it's been a long time, you know, some things have happened, some things have changed, some things have changed back. But one thing that hasn't changed is I'm still me. I'm still shit at everything I do, but I do it with a smile on my face, unless I get hacked, and do it for the banter. We're here for the banter at the end of the day. You know, I guess biggest announcement is APA Wi-Fi Season 3, or just APA Season 3 now, as it's been called, is here. It's coming. It's the draft stream was yesterday. If you didn't see it, go check it out. It was on A-Drive's Twitch. I don't know if there's highlights being uploaded. You should be able to see highlights on his Twitch channel. I think that's how it works. But yeah, it was a really good stream. You know, thank you to everyone who came out and showed support. Everyone, especially, who came out and supported your Chelsea Cloysters. And yeah, it was a really good stream. And you would have seen, if you saw it, you would have seen the team that we drafted. And I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with it. So we're just going to do a little sort of draft recap video. We're calling it a draft analysis, but it's just going to be more of a recap. Just, I don't want to spend too much time doing it. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. So, like, you could watch, there's so many other coaches in this league who have much more understanding of their teams and the way they've worked, and certain mons and little niches that they can do. All I would be doing is just scrolling through Showdown and reading off moves that they can learn. So yeah, we're just gonna do a little recap more than analysis. Maybe a little bit of analysis here and there, because I do like a bit of an analysis. But we are just gonna do a little recap. So just to jump into it, we were the 5th overall pick, as you can see, sort of above me here. This is in order, so going from top left down to bottom right. A-Drive had the first pick, and he went for Celesteela. And eventually, I can't remember what else was picked before me, but being 5th overall pick, and with how many Pokemon there are now, like, I had a good choice. I had a good selection, and I ummed and ahed for a long time about what I wanted to actually pick. And in the end, I decided to go for something that I could build my team around as the main offensive focal point. I wanted something that was going to just come in, hit hard, didn't have to set up, you know, just come in and break walls. And in that sense, I talked things over with my my partner in crime, Panther, coach of the Carolina Fables. If you don't know, he's a cracking guy. Go check him out. I'll put his link in the channel below, description below. We were talking, and he convinced me. To go for the legend. Let's just hope that this works. That is Megalopunny. There it is. Thumper, the Megalopunny, as he will be known. Megalopunny has some amazing stats. I think it's like 135 or 130. No, I think it's 136 attack and 135 speed, which is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous for a mon that hits so hard to be so fast. And it's not even that much of glass cannon. I mean, only 65 HP. Let me just pull the stats up. Yeah, and they're like 90s in the defenses. So, I mean, it can probably take a hit, but like, this thing just comes in. So it's not what I wouldn't call it a glass cannon, but this thing just punches so hard. High jump kick, which I'm not sure I'm going to run. I'll say that now. I'm not sure I'm ever going to run high jump kick this season, just because if you know me, you know that my fucking luck just sucks. My luck sucks. So I'm probably running Drain Punch return, Power Up Punch, God knows. You know, it does get a bit of coverage, I think, as well, like Ice Punch and stuff like that. So it's a good one. It's a good one to have. I've never used it before, so I'm excited to be able to use it. But building around that, we obviously, it has Fighting Weakness, Psychic Weakness, and Fairy Weakness. So I thought I'd deal with 2 of those. Oh no, sorry, just the one I think in this one. Yeah. With a Fairy type. I wanted to get a Fairy type. I wanted to get a strong Fairy type. In previous drafts, I've ended up with like something like Comfey or Gramble, and don't get me wrong, I do like them. That's why I picked them. I do like them, but I wanted to go something high tier that is reliable in every scenario. You know, I can't bring Gramble or Comfey to every single matchup, but just because they're not that good. They're good situationally, like in certain scenarios, but they're not as good as I wanted. So I did go ahead and pick up a T1 Fairy, and the Fairy is not Clefable, because Panther actually stole that before it got back round to me. Not that I would have chose it anyway. Who knows? But we did actually go for Sylveon, the Dragon Slayer, as our first tier 1 option. Now, Sylveon, let me just again grab his stats up, is bulky as fuck. 95 HP, 130 speed F. Its physical side leaves a lot to be wanting, but 130 speed F and 110 special attack as well. So this thing, it can take a hit and it can throw off a hit. You know, you can run Spec Sylveon. Hyper Voice breaks through, it bypasses substitutes, which I think is really, really important to have on a team. Something that can do that, you know, access to Baton Pass and, you know, Carmines, things like that. Again, I didn't want to just start reeling off moves, but this thing, it is bulky. It's very, very bulky, especially on the special side. And I think Sylveon, it's a mon that I'm comfortable using. It's something that I used like in my very first season. And it's something that I have a few sort of reliable sets to mind and spreads and whatnot. But again, at the same time, it's something that I really want to experiment with, see what we can come up with to kind of throw people off, and go that way with it. But I was talking about Psychic. The other weakness that we have to deal with for Lopunny is Psychic, and so we did have to get a bulky Psychic type. And it's one that I absolutely loved using in the first season of APA Wi-Fi, which was probably our second most important Pokemon, maybe third most important Pokemon in APA Wi-Fi Season 1 on our 10-2 record run. Unfortunately, we did lose in the playoffs, but we don't talk about that. We just talk about the fact of what an amazing season we did. So I did want to make sure I picked up some familiar faces from that season, and the first one of those is Latias. Now, Latias, or Red as she'll be known, is bulky. It's a bulky, annoying mon. You know, it gets Roost, it gets Wish, and is able to pass those wishes around, which is nice. Base 80 HP, and then you're looking at 90 defense, so not too shabby on the defensive side. And then again, 110 special attack, 130 speed F, and 110 speed as well. Now, it's nice having quite a fast wall. It does give us more options. You know, we can run. It means that Latias can be run not just as a defensive one, but as like a supporting one. You know, with some pace, Wish, Baton Pass, and whatnot. And it gives it much more versatility in what we can actually do with it. So I'm really looking forward to using Latias again. Obviously, dropping 110 speed F, SPA. Blah. I keep just going Spatak. I don't want to call it Spatak. No. Special attack. Dropping Dracos with 110 special attack. With, you know, maybe a Soldier or something, because I'm pretty sure Soldier's allowed now or something. I don't know. I'm a noob. I don't care. But that was our third overall pick of the draft. And looking at it already, I was thinking, yeah, we've got a nice bit of bulk supporting Megalopunny. Bit of an issue with Fairy types, but that's something, you know, we're going to pick up a Steel type a bit later on. And this was something I was thinking about, because I was like, the Steel types are starting to go early. Like, Bronzong went round 4. Bronzong went this round. And that's ridiculously early. I think, like, Krookodile went this round or the next round. Like, all the good Steel types. Even Forretress. I think Forretress was round 3 or round 4. I think around 3 or round 4. So, they were all going. So, I was kind of worried a little bit, because at this point, I've got a Dragon and a Fairy. But I haven't got a Steel type, and I haven't got Fire, Water, Grass. So at this point, I'm sort of thinking, shit, you know, I don't know what I'm going to end up with here. I don't know if I'm going to end up with some, like, real basic Grass type or something. But despite all that, I didn't grab any of those things. I went ahead and I scooped up another mon that I know I'm comfortable using. It's probably one of my favourite mons. Having gone from never having heard of it to now, I absolutely love it. It's such a reliable, good mon that can do so much for me in a draft format. That mon is Rico. If you know it, you know it. The Krookodile. As our round 4 pick, our first tier 3 Pokemon of the draft. And Rico, the things that Rico likes to do well. I mean, for starters, it can set rocks. I don't like it to have rocks, because it is a waste of a moveset on quite an offensive mon. It's quite an offensive mon, you know, with stab knockoff, stab earthquake, and it acts as the stone edge as well. Sludge bomb, which is a nice little tech move that I've run before, like particularly for Tapu Bulus. It's a nice mon to have. It's got a bit of versatility to it. I'm pretty sure it has like Fire Fang in that as well. I could double check. Yeah, Fire Fang. Does it get Ice Fang? No, that's dumb. Gets Fire Fang but no Ice Fang. Anyway, but it's not too frail either. I mean, 95 HP, 80 defense, 70 special defense, which is obviously it's not high, but it's not bad. You know, he's not made of paper. 92 speed, which puts him a real nice tier for being a choice scarfer. You know, he creeps all those 90 speeds, and it would be nice obviously if he was a little bit speedier. Just like maybe like 95, 96, but I think 92 is nice because you know where you stand with it. I don't think there's an awful lot of mons that have 92 base speed, if any. So you know where you can, you know what you can outspeed and what you can't, and you know you're not leaving anything to the chance of a roll or something. So in that sense, Krookodile, I like it because it is so reliable. I know exactly what I need to do with it. And it can be just a nice little revenge killer. You know, it can come in on quite a lot of things. And it's one thing I want to talk about as well is its abilities. Again, I don't want to spend too long on these things, but just having Intimidate and Moxie. Like, Intimidate I love because you can just switch it in on a physical threat and force it out. You know, and in that turn, you can get off some decent damage. And, you know, and if it's something coming in that's can't take 2 hits, then you know you're laughing, you're in a really good situation. As well as Moxie, I love Moxie as well. I think last season or season before, I ran Z Krookodile with Moxie, and just like launched off the Z move, the Z ground or whatever, got the kill, and then Krookodile was just able to sweep. Like, it's not fast. It's not really fast, so it's not like a real threat. It's not a real threat to sweeping a team. But when it's like that and it's a +3 and you haven't got anything to deal with it, like, it's game over. It's game over at that point. Obviously, it's +3 because it's got 3 kills. But you know, it's a threat. It's a huge threat. I mean, I didn't even mention this attack. 117 attack. You know, which is only 19 less than Megalopunny, which I think is wild. So I'm really glad I was able to pick up Rico, and Krookodile is going to do the finest for us this season. Next, we did pick up our Steel type, as well as picking up a Water type, and if that doesn't give away what we got, then you're probably about as good as Pokemon as I am. Our round 5 pick was Empoleon. Now, Empoleon is a mon which I've never used before in my life. Not even, I think even when I played through the games, I don't even know what the mons were. I think I had Snivy Superior. Is that even that? No, it's Piplup. Yeah, Piplup was in the same thing as Snivy. Was it? Yeah. I think. I think so. I feel like that's right, yeah. God, I am awful. But Empoleon is really nice because it is pretty bulky. Again, unfortunately, more so specially than physically. So we do have a little bit of a problem with physical threats at this moment in time. But despite that, I like Empoleon because its defensive typing is pretty awesome. I mean, I think in terms of weaknesses, you're looking at, I mean, it's annoying that it's neutral to fire. It's neutral to fire, but obviously resists fairies. Only weak to ground. That's all I can think of. Literally ground. Electric? No. Still resist electric. So, you know, it's an awesome defensive typing, and it's going to be a nice ball. In terms of sort of sets you're looking at, I mean, Scold. Scold and Stealth Rocks. I like it because it's got Stealth Rocks and it's got Defog, so it's another Defog option, as well as Latias, which I forgot to mention earlier. Latias does get Defog, however, it's not sort of something that I want to be running on it particularly. So I think we're much more likely to bring Defog on Empoleon, as well as being able to have Stealth Rock on it, to take the pressure off Krookodile as a rock setter. And obviously this completes now our Dragon Fairy Steel Core. Sylveon, Latias, Empoleon, I think is a pretty solid core. You know, it's really fat, really fat. And moving on from that, I did want to think more offensively now. I don't have a lot of special offense. I know I have Sylveon and Latias, who both have 110 special attack, but they are more sort of defensive options for me. They're not sort of mons that are going to go in and really punch more holes in the opposing team. So I did want to grab something that was going to do that for me, and that Pokemon is Jenga. There it is. Jenga is, again, it's a Pokemon that I've loved it. I've always loved it since I first started playing. So it's something that I really want to use. I've never used it in draft format, so there's that. But I have seen it used, and it's just such a threat. You know, there's so much it can do. It is one of our Z-mons. So there's that. You know, it provides so much more. It provides so much more offensive power to our team. Especially with it being a Z captain, with all the coverage it gets things like Energy Ball, Thunder, just scrolling through now, like Ice Punch, interesting, like Psychic and things like that. Sludge Ball, you know, it gets so much coverage. So that's why having it as a Z user is going to be really nice, because it adds a bit of unpredictability as well to our team. You know, it's going to make us a bit more harder to prep for. Especially with the speed, we're looking at 110 speed, so it's another really fast mon that our opponent has to try and deal with, by scarfing something potentially. 130 special attack, so again, it is adding a lot of threat to our team, which is nice. It's nice to have, and at this point in the draft, I'm looking at my team and I'm thinking, there's not a bad mon on this team. I know I haven't got many tier 4 or tier 5s yet, but there's not a bad mon on this team. There's not a bad one on this team, so I'm really excited to see how they sort of gel together. But I was sort of looking at the rest of it, and I thought I'm gonna have to pick up an electric type soon, as well as a grass type. And I was kind of struggling. And Panther had this Brainwave, and it's a mon that we thought about drafting before, but I think its brothers or sisters tend to outshine it. We'll say that its brothers or sisters tend to outshine it, but I think for what we need it for, it can do an amazing job. This mon is Rotom Cut. Here it is, Rotom Mo, sorry. Rotom Mo, still in the cut, or in the cut. I don't know. Whatever its name is, Hugo, sorry, whatever, I've butchered it. But we are taking this little thing. And purely, it can run a wide variety of sets. You know, it's got the same stat distribution as Rotom Wash and Rotom Heat and all that. So, you know, it can be a pivot, it can be a defensive wall, it can be a specially defensive wall. You know, I think looking at the weaknesses of it, I'm actually just going to Google it because I really want to know. You're looking at fire and ice. I mean, no ground weakness, obviously, because of levitate. So I think another levitate user to our team is really nice. This mon and Latias. Apparently I've disconnected from my Wi-Fi. Just having another ground immunity is nice, and as I say, I'm just gonna get this up just because I don't wanna fuck it up. I'm pretty sure it's just fire, ice. I can't think of anything else. Fire and ice. Yeah, fire and ice. And oh, flying as well. Flying. Poison. No, poison, bug, fire, ice. Because flying is neutral because of it. Poison, bug, fire, ice. So poison and bug aren't really that common types. Fire and ice, and they're all types that Empoleon deal with pretty well. Like ice is resisted like 4 times. Bug is resisted, I think. Poison is immune, and fire is neutral. And even then we have Latias, who deals with fire types pretty well. So it's a nice little defensive core we're building. Outside of typing, it's just a nice little defensive core. With a load of fucking hard hitters like Krookodile, Megalopunny, and Jenga. So we're building up a nice little sort of team that's supporting each other really, really well. And again, looking at those defensive mons, Sylveon, Empoleon, Rotom Mo, Latias. Those 4 mons can deal with pretty much any threat you want to throw. So that's where I wanted to start looking at the more niche bits of my team now. I think the main sort of, I think the 6 that you're going to see most times, most weeks, are here, potentially. So I wanted to look at the more niche factors of the team, so I'm just going to sort of whiz through them, because I don't want this video to be too long. But we've got Talonflame as our round 8 pick. And Talonflame is a mon that does exactly what it says in the tin. You know, it's got 126 speed as well as Gale Wings. So if it's a full HP, flying type moves have priority. And then 81 attack, which isn't a lot, but we have made Talonflame another Z user. And with access to things like Sword Stance, this thing will pack a punch. It's a nice little late game sweeper, Talonflame, and situationally it will be nice to have, especially if there's like annoying ones on the screen like Mega Venusaur, where this thing can come in and just threaten it out. Otherwise, Mega Venusaur has a nasty habit of just being able to sit in on anything. So yeah, Talonflame covers our fire type, so we have got all our cores now, all our type cores. But we needed to support Talonflame by having another set of removal. I forgot to say about Rotom having Defog now as well this gen. It's just something I keep forgetting about, but I have just remembered. So Defog on Rotom is another way that we can control hazards. But I did want something to spin. I did want something to know rapid spin, and I did also need an ice type. So Snow is falling, Shaken Stevens, the Kryogonal, as our 9th round pick, purely as something, again, it's not something that I've used a lot before, but it's fat. It's fat, 135 speed F. Again, our special defenses are sky high. They are sky high. And another Levitate user, go figure. And then just a lot of nice sort of little niche moves. Rapid Spin is the main reason that we drafted this thing. And our team was quite ice weak, so I wanted to pick up something which could deal with ice types a little bit better, other than what we have already on the team. I'm just going to move on from that because there's not much to say about Kryogonal. It's a cool mon. I don't know much about it, so to be able to talk about it at length. So we are just going to move on to a mon that I do know a little bit more about, and that is Regirock. Now again, I wanted something to take the pressure off Krookodile a bit, because we just had Krookodile and Empoleon that can set rocks. So in that sense, Regirock is there to just support those two in that aspect, as well as just be an annoying little shit as we've seen it be in the past for us. You know, I've drafted Regirock. I think I've drafted Regirock and Krookodile every time. Like every time I've drafted one of them, I've drafted the other. I think they just go really nicely together. You know, as a rock type, pure rock type Regirock, and just 200 base defense, which is out of this world, and 100 special defense as well, which is absolutely fine. 80 HP. This thing is so good at just sitting in there and walling certain threats that otherwise don't have a lot of walls. You know, things like just these fire types especially. You know, that even if you can just throw in a specially defensive Regirock, and it's not going to die. It's not going to die very easily. There's not much more I want to say about Regirock. We're getting late, but even looking back at this team again, Sylveon, Jenga, Krookodile, Empoleon, Rotom, Cryogonal, Megalopunny, Latias, Talonflame, Regirock. Not a bad mon on this team. The only thing I'd be saying about it is Cryogonal. But Cryogonal as a tier 5, like, I don't think you can go wrong with that. I don't think you can go wrong with Cryogonal as a tier 5 pick. And Regirock as a tier 5 pick. I think they're probably 2 of the best tier 5s in there. Probably... other than, like, say, Miltank and Lantern, these are probably 2 of the best tier 5s in there. And to close off the draft, guys, again, I didn't. At this point, I had so many points. I had a lot of points. I could get a tier 2 Pokemon. But I didn't really know what I wanted to get. So I got something which, and there wasn't a lot left. Sort of. I mean, I'm missing a bug type. That's the only thing my team is missing, a bug type. And I could have grabbed like Volcarona. But I had Talonflame already, so I thought it would be a bit redundant. So I went for a mon which I've never used before. All I know is that it's hard. It hits hard. That's what I've been told. This mon is Staraptor, and Staraptor is let's just have take a quick look at it. 120 attack, 100 speed. We didn't have anything with base 100 speed before, I believe. No, we had done nothing with base 100 speed. So that sort of settles down our speed tiers quite nicely. It breaks them up quite well. So we know what our opponent is going to try and creep, which is good. 85 HP, 70 defense, 60 special defense. It's not bulky. It's not going to take a hit. But with the ability, it gets Intimidate and it also gets Reckless. So there's two nice abilities there. Again, just for a bit of versatility. I'm pretty sure this gets U-turn. I hope. Yeah, it gets U-turn. And then Roost. You know, it's got a little bit of longevity about it. You know, it can. It's not a one-trick pony. It gets quite a bit of coverage as well. Close combat. It gets Final Gambit, which is quite interesting. I have to say, Final Gambit is quite interesting, and U-turn as well. So again. It's a mon that I don't know a lot about, but hopefully I'll learn quite a bit more about it this season. But, guys, that is our team. This is the team on the screen. Sylveon, Jenga, Krookodile, Empoleon, Rotom, Kryo, Megalopunny, Latias, Talonflame, Regirock, and Staraptor. And now, again, guys, I don't think there's a bad mon on there. I don't think there's a bad mon on that roster. So I am really, really excited to get this season going. If you don't know, next week, next Sunday, this is going up on Sunday the 31st, I believe, 31st of December. Happy New Year to everyone. If you're watching this in 2018, Happy New Year. Next week, Sunday the 7th of January, our first battle goes live, and our first battle is against none other than A-Drive himself and the coach of the St. Louis Rampardos. Now, A-Drive is a tough opponent, and it will be a tough game, but I promise you, we'll give you everything that we have to try and make a winning start for the Chelsea Cloysters in the APA Wi-Fi Season 3. If you have any questions for me, guys, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Any comments on my video, just leave them below. I love to read them. I love to get feedback. I love to take all things on board. You know, chat to you guys a little bit. You know, I respond to every comment pretty much, unless it's a stupid one. No, there's no such thing as a stupid comment. Actually, yes, there is. Don't be stupid. No, there's no such thing. I like to reply to all of them. So get down there, like, subscribe if you want to stick around. It'd be really great if you did. And yeah, that's me, guys. That's Elite Four Dan and our APA Season 3 draft recap. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.